Men typically argue ideas. Women express emotions. This is why communication isn't the key to a healthy relationship. When you're trying to communicate what you think is communication, as a man, you are trying to express logic and reasoning, and this is in data and facts. She doesn't care about that. All she cares about is how everything's making her feel. When you're trying to win the argument by expressing facts and data and all that kind of stuff, and you're getting more mad because she's not listening to any of that stuff, because all she hears is your tone and your body. It sees your body language, and it makes her feel insecure in the relationship or not safe or whatever it's making her feel. It makes her feel bad. Like, now you're the bad guy. She doesn't like your tone, and everything that you said doesn't matter anymore, right? And so this is how you end up falling into her frame, because you're trying to respond logically to her emotional storm. And what it does is, she's not listening. You are going to get in your feelers. You're going to get pissed off. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to end up in your emotions. Now you're off center, and now you're operating in her frame. You see? And once you fall into her frame, she starts losing that respect for you. So that's where your role is, to absorb the chaos and project clarity. This is where Paul Benjamin's LUCA model comes into play, right? Now, a lot of guys don't understand the LUCA model quite well, because they're like, how am I winning this argument if all I'm doing is listening to her and validating her feelings? I'm not getting my information across to her. Well, she won't listen to your information until she feels better about the conversation. The way she'll feel better about the conversation is getting her emotions off her chest. And then when she verbalizes her emotions and then listens to how those words come out and how those words make her feel, that's how she processes what's going on. It's all through the feelers, right? So you let her get all that kind of crap off her chest. That's where listening comes in. Listening, understanding, clarity. So LUCA stands for listen, understand, clarity, action. So you're listening to understand what she's saying. Instead, most guys are listening, or most guys aren't even listening. They're just waiting for their chance to speak so that they can say what they need to say. And then nobody's listening. So you listen to her for understanding. When you don't understand, you ask clarifying questions. You let her get all of her emotions off her chest so she feels safe and secure in the relationship. And then if there is an action that needs to be taken, that's where you say, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. And then you provide an action. Okay, now she's listening. Now she's like, he's taking the lead on an action to fix this problem. Great, right? 99% of the time, the action that you need to take is to just listen to her. Like, you don't even have to say anything. You know what? She's not going to listen to whatever logical stuff that you're going to say anyway. So it's like, there's no point in trying to say it out to her, or explain things to her. So sometimes just listening to her will resolve the problem, and then you act how you're going to act anyway. You don't need her buy-in, right? So this is where you're absorbing the chaos, her emotional storm, and then you project clarity through the action. You understand? Okay. It's hard to do in the moment when you're pissed off, though. It's hard to do in the moment when you're pissed off, right? That's where, like, focusing on LUCA, the acronym itself, is helpful, because when you're feeling the emotions, just stop concentrating on the emotions and think about LUCA, right? All right. Becoming the unshakable man. She wants to know, can you protect her from herself, right? She knows she's a whammon. She's going to do whammon things. She knows she's not being rational all the time, and it's all just emotion based. That drives her nuts too. That gives her more anxiety and all this kind of stuff, right? Can you protect her from herself, right? By being her rock that she can lean on, that she can come to, right? She wants to know that you could protect her. One thing to understand, one of the traits that women like in a man, they find it attractive, is assertiveness. And assertiveness does not mean being aggressive. It just means being very direct, calm, and clear in your statements. Right? It's calm command. This is how, like, you set boundaries. You set them very calm and firm and direct. Right? That kind of stuff shows your unshakableness. It shows that you're not going to fall into her frame. It shows that you're setting the tone and leading the relationship. All that kind of stuff makes her feel safe in the relationship and protected from herself. This is where that loving detachment becomes strength, not distance. It's not like you're being a dismissive avoidant. You're being lovingly detached, which means you're still interacting with her. You're still having conversations with her. You're just not emotionally getting sucked into her chaos as a woman. Let's talk about sexual polarity and long-term relationships, and then we'll wrap this up. Masculine polarity is maintained through tension, not comfort. A lot of guys are doing whatever they can to squash that tension in the relationship at all costs. They do a lot of that by trying to make her happy, by doing what she says, because they're trying not to have a fight. They're trying to avoid conflict. All that kind of stuff kills the tension in the relationship. That tension has to be there for there to be sexual attraction. It has to be there. But I just want my peace, bro. I had a hard day at work. I don't want to come home and listen to her bullshit. I just want to have my beer, watch the football game. I just want my peace, bro. If you have good, solid mental frame, you will have your peace. Okay. Peace comes from up here. It doesn't come from her. It doesn't come from your outside world. This is what we talked about on Friday with we got into the woo a little bit, but your world doesn't exist out here. Everything exists up here. Everything that you're seeing right now is your brain processing data. Your brain is processing data from your five senses, right? Your brain lives in darkness. It doesn't even know what's going on outside. All it has is its senses, and it's interpreting data and creating this hologram in your head of what you're seeing, right? So once you understand that and you set the frame of you're having a peaceful interaction with your wife or your girlfriend, no matter what she's doing, you're going to have your peace, man. You're going to have your peace. Space plus mystery plus confidence equals perpetual desire. This is a lot of things. This is one of the things that I talk about in Get Her to F You Again. I talk about it in my coaching program, but a lot of a big problem with long-term relationships, there's a couple of things, right? There's a thing called fusion that happens where you start fusing your personalities. That happens with anybody. When you spend a lot of time with certain people, your personalities you start picking up little habits and phrases and terminology from the people that you hang around with. That's why they say you're a product of the five people you hang around with the most. If you're a guy that's hanging around with five broke dudes, you're going to be the sixth broke dude. So you want to hang around, wealthy, successful people. That'll make you a more successful guy, that kind of thing, right? That's what Beer Club's for. But a lot of guys, they don't have, all they do is they spend time with their wife. They go to work and then they come home and she's the sole source of that social interaction, and attraction dies in close proximity. You guys become too comfortable with each other. You guys get so used to each other. You start farting around her. She starts farting around you. She starts dressing like a People of Walmart person with a messy bun, and she stops wearing her contacts, starts wearing her ugly glasses all the time, stops putting on makeup, and basically is just like, oh, I'm comfortable in the relationship. I can be myself now. And attraction dies.
New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Subscribe now.